Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. And as you can see, the sun is out and it's warmed up today. We've had some cool weather the last few weeks. I mean, moderately cool considering it's July. I'm not talking like cold, but we're normally used to being at least in the 90s through the month of July. And we've been in the like 70s, high 70s, low 80s. It's been strange, but today we come back up in the 90s, and tomorrow heat index is supposed to be like 105, 110. So we're definitely getting back up to normal temperatures. I've got some other things to talk about. We're talking about civil war, civil unrest, the violence that's very possible gonna start happening, in the next 100 days or so and after that. But we'll get to that here in just a minute. I want to share with you something. A good friend of ours, I've talked about this before, but it's handcrafted, handmade soap. This here is from Grafted and gracecreations.com. There we go. There, I think you can see it now. This here is Brush Fire. It's a new fragrance that they have, and the reason why I'm mentioning it is because this was designed specifically for our emergency response team that our group has created, where we are an auxiliary and assist the fire department and have actually joined the fire department, as many of you know from watching this channel. This soap, if you purchase this soap, if you go to graftedandgracecreations.com, see there? And you purchase this soap called Brush Fire, 15% of all the proceeds that come in on this soap will go back to be donated to our emergency response team. It's a really good soap. I like it. It's got some charcoal in it. It's got some turmeric in it, kind of an earthy, spicy fragrance to it. The men are going to love it. I think a lot of you women would like it too. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that isn't just to sell soap, because it benefits the group that we're doing, is because we're trying to finish up a restoration project on a fire station that's been out of service in our area. Where we live in that kind of area around us, there's an old fire station that's been out of service for many years. And so if a fire or something happens in our area, we have to bring, fire engines and help from other fire stations that, are 15, 20 miles away. And so we're trying to restore this fire station, get it back up into service. There's an old fire engine in it, and we're almost there. We got everything running good, but now we've got a leak in one of the brake cylinders that I'm working on this week to fix. But the station itself, we're working on restoring it, renovating it, getting it usable. And we've done a lot of work. We've come a long way on it, but we need a little bit more, kind of get us up over the hump. So we're doing a community yard sale, bake sale here in a few weeks, and taking in donations from folks. If you live near me, and you're interested in making a donation, let me know, send me an email. I can set up a time to get stuff that you want to give to put in that sale. If you live further away and you may want to just mail stuff, I know you can't mail big things, but if you want to ship some things, reach out to me. I can give you an address. And then finally, if you can't ship things, if you can't, be here for it, but you still want to contribute, there is a Give, Send, Go fundraising account that you can give to, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. I know that for some of you, you're going to say, well, what does this benefit me? Cui bono, who benefits? Well, the people around here benefit, and it may not be necessarily you, but you're being part of a community that is doing its best to pull together and become stronger, so that when bad things start to really kick off, they'll be able to handle it. So if you're able to, that's fine and great, and we appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. No one's gonna hold it against you. But you can either purchase the soap, and a portion of that goes to this project. You can mail some stuff in. If you live close enough, you can drop things by. And if none of that works and you still want to help, like I said, you can always make a financial contribution, or just your prayers. That's the most important thing, and the biggest thing that we can have for the things that we're doing, because myself and a few other guys, we're out there on a daily basis, many times putting our lives at risk. So, and then the people that we're taking care of and helping. So prayers are always helpful. Anyways, moving on. Now that all of you very short attention span people have gotten upset because I've taken like 4 minutes or so to talk about that, let's move on to other things. So over the weekend, there was an election down in Venezuela. And Venezuela, they've been having some pretty hard times over the last few years, because they openly adopted socialism and became communism, and their economy just kind of went in the tank, and their crime rates and all of these things. You all know about it. We've talked about it many times. Well, their leader, Maduro, I think that's how it's pronounced, well, he had an election, and all the poll numbers were showing that he was going to lose. It was overwhelming that he was going to lose. I think I've seen numbers that something like 70% of the people were going to vote against him. And guess what happened? Well, in the middle of the night, someone showed up with big boxes of mail-in ballots, and his numbers went from down here to way up here, and he won the election. I mean, I'm kind of making a little bit of that up, but that is what happened. He ended up winning the election, at least that's what they say. Most everyone in the world... That's my radio, I apologize for that. Most everyone in the world is saying that this looks like it's some kind of fraudulent vote. And then aftermath, what's happened since then, is people are out there rioting the streets, and they're tearing things up, and they're... Hold on a second. I left my video down here. So let me turn it down just a little bit, because it's a little loud. All right. It's Monday evening. We do test tones, so that's why I'm not answering it. We do. They run through test tones on Monday evening, so it'll probably go off here again. Anyways, so now the everything's kind of burning to the ground. I mean, figuratively and literally, because people are upset. The point that I'm getting at is that we've seen this already happen somewhat in France this year. People upset with the vote, and they're out there protesting and rioting and tearing things up. And well, we have an election this year too, and we have a communist in power that wants to stay in power, and kind of like in Venezuela. And it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that election. You know, I've said this before, that regardless of who ends up being declared the winner, because it's whoever the winner is going to be has already been picked, but regardless of whoever's declared the winner, 40 to 60% of the American population is going to really hate that. And the odds are of some of those 40 to 60% going out and protesting, rioting, and even becoming violent to the point of potential civil war, well, I think that's becoming an ever-increasing possibility, considering just just how things are, you know, kind of the temperature of this country, you know, how things are going. They're not going in a good direction. So is this what's happening in Venezuela and what happened in France? Are we seeing into the future of what's going to happen here in the United States? A lot of you think so. A lot of you think that there won't even be an election. And that's quite a possibility too, that something could happen and they could just postpone things or declare martial law. I mean, those are all within the realm of possibility. But either way, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people upset, and the possibility of things getting to that violent level, well, I think they're becoming more and more likely. That's what they want, I believe. They want this country ripped apart. I don't think they even care. The people that are really ruling things, I don't think they even care who's in the White House. I really don't. I think all they care about is that there's a lot of chaos, a lot of destruction, a lot of hate, a lot of violence, a lot of things just falling apart. That's what I think. That's just my hillbilly opinion. But we're seeing this buildup, and like I said, a greater chance. So here's the bottom line. We have to be ready for this. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I'm not making any kind of promise. I'm not making any kind of predictions. May not happen. Election may go off. I mean, Kamala may win. Trump may win. And it may just be as peaceful as it's ever been. And, you know, this time next year, we're all holding hands, you know, singing Kumbaya, right? Unlikely, but I know that is a possibility. I mean, you know, aliens could land on from Mars and save us, and I guess that's a possibility too. But anyways, trying to stay serious here. We have to be prepared for this. This is going to be chaotic, and it's probably going to be very different than anything we've ever experienced. And unlike a civil war that many of us learned in textbooks in schools. It could be pockets of it. There could be places that are pretty normal, and there could be places that are absolute destruction, and then everything in between. And we're going to see supply chains most likely fail. You could see power outages and other, services, outages of services. We could see services like police, fire, EMS, hospitals, doctors, very limited or not existing. We could see wars, foreign wars, pop up if they hadn't already by that time. There's so many possible outcomes. And while, you know, at one point in the recent past, most of you probably thought it was a very slight chance that any of that would happen. I think most of you would also agree that that slight chance is becoming a bigger and bigger chance almost daily now. And so we can't just sit back and lie around and just, you know, well, this is awful. It's possibly going to happen. We got to take control of our lives and our futures and put it all in God's hands, number one, but also do our part. We have to do our part along with what he's doing. And that means to stock up, that means to train, that means to prepare in many different ways, get your physical body ready, get your preps ready, get your family ready, get your community ready, get your homestead ready, as self-sufficient as possible, raise food, grow food, you know, preserve food, forage for food. All of these things need to be serious. And you're probably sitting there thinking, my goodness, there's only 100 days left to the election. What all do you expect me to do? Well, I expect you to put a lot of effort into getting yourself prepared, and maybe you can't check off all of those things in the next 100 days, but I would guarantee that you guys can do a lot of things. And so I want to encourage you to be doing that because, you know, Venezuela, France, who knows? I mean, if you kind of look at the history, there are a lot of similarities between France and the United States and Venezuela and the United States. At one point, Venezuela was the second most prosperous and biggest economy in the United States, in the Western Hemisphere. So there's that possibility. You know, their dollar hyperinflated, and now today they announced that we're at $35 trillion in debt. We've crossed that line. Are we going to do the same? Is our dollar going to do the same? I don't know. But I see us going down similar paths as well as France, because France is the one that's adopting and opening their doors up to the illegals and the woke extreme mentality. So we have to prepare for this, folks. We have to get ready. We have to wake up, and we have to get our houses in order. I know it's clichéic at this point, but it's serious. We need to be getting ourselves ready mentally, physically, spiritually. Not give up, not sit around, not put it off to tomorrow. We need to do it today and get ready. Because it's looking more and more likely that really, really bad things could happen in the next 100 days. Also, again, if you want to help out with our fire station project, whether it's donating goods for our sale, sending them in, or making a financial donation, please reach out to me or click one of the links below to make the donation, and that would help us out greatly. Folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.